This is a Life Better podcast where we talk about how life is so much better with God, community, and purpose. I'm Jonathan Gleason. This is Josh Doolin.
Hey.
And Josh, I'd like to start today by asking a couple of questions that everyone can answer as you're listening.
Okay.
But this is specifically to you, Josh.
Okay.
Have you ever talked yourself out of exercise and into dessert?
Yes.
Okay, me too. Totally.
Absolutely.
Have you ever had one of those moments where you told yourself, I'm waiting for the right time, I'm waiting for the right moment, I'm waiting for fill in the blank, and then that right time, that right moment passed you by, and you kind of have that, darn it, I can't believe I missed it.
Yes, absolutely.
Me too. All right, last one. Have you ever avoided a problem, tried to hide from a problem, maybe danced around a problem rather than just tackling it head on, dealing with it in a healthy way?
Procrastination?
Have you ever done anything like that?
Absolutely, yes.
So I can answer yes to all of those and probably about a billion other poor decision making. But that's where we're headed today. We're going to be talking about how we can make better choices and at the same time avoid poor choices. One of the things that we're going to be talking about today, I think really is highlighted in our lives because if you don't know this, Josh and I are pastors. And as pastors, we have the unique opportunity to walk with people through disasters that they're in, that they're trying to dig themselves out of. And oftentimes those disasters have come because of poor decisions that they've made.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I have noticed, and this isn't all the time, but one of the things that I've noticed is often they didn't see it coming. It's one of those things that just kind of snuck up on them. But as the casual observer, I think to myself, really? You didn't see it coming? Some of the choices that you've been making for years have led to this. Whether that's a broken marriage or possibly a unplanned pregnancy or some other relational issue. And it leaves me wanting to ask the question, okay, why is it that sometimes we cannot discern the traps that we actually lay for ourselves? And at the same time, like, how can people avoid making poor choices? So that's the direction that we're headed. And one of the things that we're going to do, just to kind of think through like how to make better choices, is really tackle that question, okay, why can't people see this? And how can they avoid it? I think it comes down to self-leadership. Self-leadership, if you are able to lead yourself well, you see the traps, and you're able to avoid disaster. Now, self-leadership is a really broad topic. So we're going to kind of at least get your minds thinking about some people who may have led themselves well and may not have led themselves well.
I was wondering how you were going to tie in this game, and now I completely see it, so that's good.
So we've got a game, it's called Birthday Cake, and it's a simple game where we're going to name some famous people, and Josh and I are going to have to try to figure out how old they are now. Here's the thing, though. When you hear some of these names, you're immediately probably going to think of, well, you know what? They've led themselves well. Or you're going to think, oh, yeah, no, they're kind of a train wreck, and they're known for being a train wreck. Now, we are not going to pick on them. We're not going to kick them when they're down. But as you
might
hear,
on accident.
and maybe on accident, but we're not going to be the ones defining who the train wrecks are and who's not. You'll just hear some of the names, and hopefully this will begin to allow you guys to kind of think through, self-leadership is actually important. Okay, so I did not prepare these. I had my wife prepare these, so I do not know the answer.
Cool.
But I'm going to read these, and I'm going to let you guess first, and then I'm going to guess. And
we're guessing age, right?
Age. The age of these famous people. The person that's closest to that correct age wins the point. Okay. Bono from U2. Are you familiar with who Bono is?
A little bit.
Okay.
Which helps me a little bit, like establish like a time frame. I'm going to guess he is 56 years old.
56, I think he might be in his 60s. I'm going to go with 60.
Okay.
You said 56?
Yeah.
All right, the correct answer is 62.
62.
What
Well
did
done.
I say, 60?
You did say 60, so you got that. Well done.
He is older than I thought, but only by 2 years. Okay, the next one is Charlie Sheen. Charlie Sheen.
I'm going to let you guess first this time.
Okay, I'm going to say 58.
58. See, I was thinking 60, so I'm going to go 63.
63.
57. How are you so good at this?
I have no idea.
Well done.
Honestly, these people are probably more in my age group than yours. Some of them are.
I mean, what are you, 40?
I'm 42.
42.
So,
Okay. I was like, I remember the 40th year. Like, you're younger than these guys.
Yeah, a little bit. All right, next one is Mike Tyson.
Mike Tyson. Okay.
Now you know who Mike Tyson is,
Yes,
right?
and I've seen him recently in videos and stuff, and he definitely looks a lot older than. I don't think he's that old though. He's got to be like 50, 50.
Yeah, I have that in my head as well. I'm going to be cheap, and I'm going to go 51.
51,
I'm just going to go one over.
Older. Yeah, I think
maybe I should have guessed first. Then you can like snipe my answers. Okay, the answer. Oh, 56. He is 56. Okay. Have I gotten all the answers so far?
You have. I do feel good though, because normally I'm bad at this, and I've been within like 5 or 6 years every single time.
That's true. You're not too far off.
Mike Tyson, definitely one that I think, despite letting people beat him up, has taken care of himself.
It's true.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, how about this one? Dwayne Johnson, The Rock.
Ooh. Oh, how old is he?
You want me to go first?
Sure.
I should probably go
Sure.
first. I'm going to say 58. Or excuse me, 48. I'm going to say
50.
No. I'm going to go 48. I think he's
48.
older than I am. Maybe I've gone too high, but I think he's definitely in his 40s.
I'll go 45.
Okay.
Because he looks great still.
50.
No way.
He's
50 years old?
He looks great for being 50.
Oh, man. All you creepy little ladies who are in their 20s are like, I want to marry The Rock. He's going to look awful in like 10, 15
He
years.
takes really good care of himself.
He does.
I think if we're just going to say someone who's probably made some really good life choices, I think he's probably on that list. Yeah. Okay, Robert Downey Jr. Iron Man. Should I go first?
Sure.
Gosh.
If you want, because you're destroying me.
I'm gonna go. Let's go 57.
57.
Is that way too high? I don't know.
He's one who's made poor life choices, and I think it makes him look older than he is.
That could be.
I'm gonna guess 50.
Okay, let's see. 57 on the dot!
How did you do
goodness.
that?
I promise you that my wife prepared these. I did not see them at all before. That's good.
Man.
Oh, wow. Okay, Michelle Obama.
You
want me to go first?
You can. I think I have at least a close.
I think she's in her 50s. I'm going to go 55.
Okay. The 58 was in my head. I know
Okay.
that Obama was one of our younger presidents.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
Yeah, but I don't think that he was he's definitely in his 50s at least, and I was assuming that they were around the same age.
So you're going with
58.
Okay. What was I saying? 55?
55, I think is what you said.
58 on the money, Josh. Your first point, Michelle Obama. Woo! All right, this is second to last. Kim Kardashian, one of our younger ones, I think. You want to go first, or you want me to?
I don't know. Go ahead.
She's got to be younger than me, though.
I don't know.
I'm going to go 38.
38?
38.
42.
Oh, on the money!
What?
Josh, well, you should get double
Comeback.
points. You should get double points for those. All right, last one. Man, I honestly, wait, what was that? She's the same age as me. Exactly the same age as me.
Okay.
I thought she was
So now you know.
Now I know.
Same age as Kim.
Sandra Bullock is the last one. Sandra Bullock.
This one's gotten me before in real. Like I think I actually know. I'm gonna guess first. I'll guess. I think she's like 55.
I think she's in her 50s. I'm going to be cheap and I'm going to say 56.
Okay, go for it.
58! I am a scammer.
Yeah.
Okay. You know what?
I knew it was near that. Yeah.
I think that I
definitely beat me.
Beat you cleanly
Pretty
and fairly.
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
But that was fun.
Yeah.
And hopefully, as you heard some of those names, you're thinking through, yeah, those people led their lives well, and maybe others didn't. And hopefully, this will help you as you're thinking, I want to live my life really well, because that's what we're talking about and how to do this. So one of the things that I want to just start off by asking is, why talk about leadership in the first place? Because it is such, I think, almost at times an oversaturated topic. And the reason why we want to tackle this, not just this month, but probably even next month, self-leadership, is because I think our greatest leadership challenge faces us in the mirror every single morning. I think you and I
Absolutely.
are our own greatest leadership challenge.
Absolutely.
So I read recently that there are roughly 8,794 books that you can currently buy on leadership, which means it's a massive topic. It is so massive. It's like, really, what are two pastors going to be able to reveal when it comes to leadership? So we have a little bit of help from a guy named Jeremy Kingsley, who has narrowed down exactly what leadership is, so that you can know exactly what you're striving for.
All those books summed up.
What does Jeremy say leadership is?
It says a leader is someone who brings people together and guides them towards a common goal, creates vision, sets direction, motivates and inspires, organizes, manages, supervises, oversees, someone who initiates, teaches, coaches, trains, empowers, handles conflict and crises, determines, is that the proper way of saying crises?
Yeah, that sounds pretty good.
I think it's crises. Determines the value of a cause, project, or goal, is diligent, dependable, active. They don't procrastinate, they are courageous and brave, they listen, have self-control, they are aware, they assess, they evaluate, identify talents, gifts and skills, delegate, understand essentials, and pay close attention to the details. They do damage control, they confront and comfort, they sacrifice, communicate clearly. Like I'm not doing. They use principles to guide decisions and they influence people.
Okay, so there it is. That's it.
We
in
can
a
end the
nutshell.
podcast right there.
Super simple. We can just turn it off because we're all there.
You got that,
I mean,
right?
we're all over that. Obviously, it's a huge and very broad subject, and so what we're wanting to do is just kind of narrow it down a little bit. We're going to talk about self-leadership, and we're just going to give one challenge, one idea that you can embrace this month, particularly as we're entering the new year, to begin leading yourself well. Before we get into that, though, let me ask you, Josh, have you ever done any gardening?
A little bit.
What do you like planting when you do gardening, if anything?
So I don't really do the planting. I normally do the trim work, and
Okay,
Emily
yeah.
handles the planting and picking of the plants and stuff.
If you had to say this is what I like harvesting, what would you say is number one?
Tomatoes?
Yeah, no, me too.
Yeah,
Hands down,
right?
absolutely. I love tomatoes. And I think gardening is really exciting and extremely boring at the same time. Like it's boring because if you're planting from seed, like you put that seed in the ground, you water it, and what do you see the next day?
Normally nothing.
Nothing, right? What about the day after
I
that?
don't think a sprout happens that quickly.
You're not harvesting any tomatoes,
normally
right?
nothing.
You gotta wait at least a week and a half before you see anything. And usually it just kind of rises up. It almost looks like a blade of grass, and you're like, I think that might be my tomato. Are you eating any tomatoes though?
No.
You gotta wait,
Not at all.
I think 60 to 100 days before you're actually able to harvest tomatoes. But when you do, like that's exciting and that's awesome. You're just like, yes, and you're putting it on your sandwiches and making salsa, and it's really, really great. I think this is also true when it comes to self-leadership. Super boring. Like leading yourself well can be really boring, but at the same time, when weeks turn into months and months turn into years and you actually are arriving at a desired destination because you have led yourself well, I mean, that's exciting. And so, again, I want to just ask you, and again, this is a question that I think anyone can try to answer. When it comes to your life and as you're viewing maybe this year and the next 5 years, like, who do you want to be in 5 years? Not how much money you want in the bank account, not how many kids, or I mean, if you want to answer that, I think we're all curious if that's ever going to happen. But like when it comes to your character, is there anything that comes to your mind like, you know what, in 5 years from now, I would like to be like this?
You want genuine answer there?
Yeah, if you could.
I think there's a few things that even just this next year that I want to try to work on, including like dependability. Like I want my yes to be yes, my no to be no, and then on top of that, I like just want to be better about taking care of. This sounds really weird to be saying on podcasts, but sometimes. A lot of time, I will not take care of my basic like human like bodily care stuff until I'm at work. And like it's because I either don't wake up early enough or I'm not thinking about it in the morning.
Is it like darn it, I forgot my deodorant? And so you're like,
it's deodorant or like brushing teeth, and I do that all daily, but it's normally like just scattered throughout the day. I don't have like specific time that I do those
But
things.
this year, this is the year that
like,
you're gonna.
I need to like have those things. I don't know. I'm just forgetful in the morning, I think. And I have all of that here. If you go into my office, you'll find all of those care products there.
I've got a little toiletry kit in my desk when I forget those things too. So
Okay.
yeah, no,
That
I
makes
think
me
that's
feel a
good.
little better,
Yeah,
but yeah.
absolutely. So here's what's interesting. We all have at least a vague picture of a
Who we want to be.
desired destination.
Yeah.
Maybe we haven't written it down on paper, but we have like, this is what I'd like to see in 5 years. And every single day, we are either making decisions that are moving us towards that or away from that. And unfortunately, I think because of the sinful world that we live in, most of us are taking steps further away. And I think some of us, we break free. and we actually take steps forward, and certainly in the power of the Holy Spirit working in us, we can. But none of us stay the same. None of us are remaining in one place. We're either moving forward or backwards. And so we want to just offer one suggestion starting this month that you can begin implementing into your life that will be a real game changer, I think, when it comes to self-leadership. And here it is. It's a declaration that you make. It's a declaration that you live out. And here it is. I will not lie to myself, even when the truth makes me feel bad about myself. Let me say it again. I will not lie to myself, even when the truth makes me feel bad about myself. Okay, Josh, just for fun, what's the last thing that you've done that you've actually felt maybe a little bad about yourself because of?
Okay, so it happened. I'm gonna say that this morning there was a moment. It was me leaving, coming to work, and I realized I hadn't had breakfast, and I was like, oh man, I could wait and eat something a little better for myself. I'm like, I'm making a goal. Like I want to cook at home as much as possible, and that be my only meals, type of thing. But I was driving past McDonald's, and I was just like, sausage biscuit, $1, really, really easy. And I stopped and I got one. I've regretted it this morning, but yeah, that was my choice.
I appreciate your honesty with that one. I assume feeling bad about yourself is not necessarily what you wanted to experience this morning.
That was not my choice. My choice was, I don't know, the smell probably from the building, because I live really, really close to it.
So you were actually smelling it as you're getting into your car type of thing? Oh,
yeah,
no,
it's dangerous.
Yeah, no, that is dangerous. So again, going back to self-leadership, our culture oftentimes tells us that the worst thing you can do is feel bad about yourself. Yeah, the worst thing you can do is feel bad. Don't feel bad about yourself. But I think there's something a lot worse than feeling bad about yourself, and that is not doing something about what you're feeling bad about.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think one of the first things that we need to do when it comes to leading ourselves well is just being really honest with ourselves and starting to ask that question, why? Why am I doing what I'm doing? Or why am I not doing what I'm supposed to be doing? Because the easiest person, I think, for us to deceive, again, is that person staring us in the mirror.
Yeah.
And I don't know if this is something that you wrestled with this morning with the was it just the biscuit and sausage, or do you have the egg as well? No cheese.
Just the sausage biscuit.
That's not too bad.
It was the saving money aspect that I still chose, because those are $4.
Yeah, you wanted to go to the cheap part, which is good because you wanted to save some money. That's good. So again, I think oftentimes what we do is we convince ourselves of the things that we want. So you're waking up, you're smelling some, wonderfully smelling biscuits, or is it biscuits or the English muffin?
A biscuit.
Okay, that's even better. And as soon as you want something, our brains go into hyperdrive when it comes to convincing us that we should go ahead and do it.
Yeah.
And that's a dangerous place to be. In fact, let's just ask you again, what is something that you have done, you've talked yourself into? Maybe it was buying something, maybe it was getting something out of a relationship, and then later it's like, oh, why did I talk myself into that? That was dumb.
Yeah. The one that comes to mind is one of the very first times I ever tried to ask a girl out.
Yes.
And this was in middle school. I was a very awkward kid, very quiet kid. Hadn't said 2 words probably to this girl, but I had crushed on her for a while. And I had convinced myself that if I wrote the cutest note ever, and just handed it to her and walked away, that would be the most romantic thing ever. She'd fall in love with me, type of thing. No, it ends up I'm writing this in class, and it's one of those moments where a student catches me writing it, takes it, and reads it in front of everybody, and I'm just devastated.
Dude, that's a TV show, man.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. So did she giggle, laugh, and...
She ran out of the room. She was embarrassed.
She ran out of the room.
Yeah.
Josh, how old were you?
I was in 6th grade, so man, I don't know, 12.
Oh, so middle school?
Yeah,
the beginning of middle, that's the worst. Josh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I felt the pain of that moment.
I hated middle school.
I did too.
The worst.
I did too. So the point is, and we've all talked ourselves into doing stupid stuff. I remember buying stock in a friend's company, convincing myself this is going to be the big company, and we're going to make thousands. dude, I've lost like so much money on that stupid stock.
How long ago was that?
This was probably a good.
Like a couple months ago?
No. This is at least 10 years ago, maybe 12 to 15 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah, and he wasn't even trying to get me to buy stock. It was like one of those things that I heard about, and I was like, I got to be on the cutting edge. Tell me about the company. That's brilliant. Yes, I'm going to put. It's like, no, I lost all of it practically. So, yeah, we talk ourselves into doing really dumb things. And the point being, if we're going to lead ourselves well, you can't lie to yourself. You have to be brutally honest, and I think this is one of the first steps to good self-leadership. In fact, even the Apostle Paul, when he's writing to a good friend of his, Timothy, he talks about how easy it is for us to deceive ourselves and at the same time then surround ourselves with people who will tell us what we want to hear, even though what we're hearing isn't actually truth. Josh, if you don't mind reading that from 2 Timothy.
Oh, yeah. Oh, man. I have 1 Timothy marked, but it's going to take me 2 seconds to get there. I don't know why I did that. 2 Timothy 3:4.
That's the one.
All right.
No, 4:3.
4:3. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm very backwards. For the time will come when people will not put up with sound doctrine. Instead, to suit their own desires, they will gather around them a great number of teachers to say what their itching ears want to hear.
Yeah, and we do that. This is some of the things that get us into those disaster moments because we're listening to other people who are telling us things that are not true, maybe not biblical, and we start making these choices. And I think none of us want to get to a point where we're trying to dig ourselves out of a disaster. Yeah. So how can we get to a point where we're actually seeing those traps that we're laying for ourselves? Just be brutally honest. So, yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I think unfortunately something that can contribute to that, and it's something that I'm trying to get away from as another like yearly focus for me this year is watching our screen time and watching how much time we're spending on social media, because unfortunately, like we can be connected to people, but often we only connect ourselves to people who are exactly the same way as us, who will be saying like, oh, you shouldn't feel bad about this, or like this is completely okay, or this is like the idea of self-care is nice, but at the same time, it's often brought up. It's almost like selfish care, right? Like, you know, like it's okay for me to be selfish all the time is like what you hear. And you need to be careful about spending too much time on social media. I think can only contribute to this.
Because we become what we read, we become what we listen to, we become what we watch. That's just one of those principles that we see throughout life. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to give you a practice. We've got that declaration, right? The declaration is, I will not lie to myself, even when the truth makes me feel bad about myself.
Yeah.
Then we're going to embrace a question that we can ask. And it's a really simple question, so simple that you might roll your eyes and be like, I don't need to do that. But it's really profound. And it's this: why am I doing this really? Like, why am I doing this really?
Yeah.
And again, be ruthlessly honest. Like, why am I trying to avoid this meeting really? Why do I feel like I just have to isolate myself for 5 hours from people every single day playing video games? Really? Why do I want to buy that? Really? Why do I want to wear that? Really? Why am I getting so frustrated and angsty? Really? And when we ask ourselves that question, I mean, ultimately, you don't have to do anything with the truth. But I think we at least owe it to ourselves to know what the truth is. And maybe you can speak into this too, but for me, when I'm at least honest and I don't like the answer, I at least want to move towards better health.
Yeah.
And so it may be difficult, but because I've at least faced it, my next inclination is, okay, I should need to do something about it.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Negative like habits, especially in my life, even as like as simple as establishing that, oh man, for the past week or past month, every single morning I've hit the snooze button. like just admitting, okay, I am the problem. It's not that, you know, the world is going faster than like every other human is existing. I can do this. Yeah. I'm either choosing to stay up too late or I'm choosing to, for me, a lot of the problem was I knew I had the ability. My phone was within reach of my head. I just need to have it away from me and have something in the morning that I do as soon as I get up that I don't know, just establishing that you have an issue, and the issue for me was like, oh man, I'm starting to create this pattern of either coming into work late or being really tired when I do go to places, and like all of these different things like crept up on me, and like just admitting like I need to fix things is the first step to any of that. So
And when it comes to the, hitting the snooze, it's harder in the winter because it's cold outside, and
man.
you're just like, no, I don't want to get out of the covers.
Especially this morning when it's like
It's
pouring rain and like you hear that as soon as you wake up, you're like,
I don't want to get out. Yeah.
everything is telling me just to like bundle back up. Yeah, no, I get it. But
So again, what we've talked about is just this declaration. Okay, I'm not going to lie to myself, even when the truth makes me feel bad about myself. Then we're going to be brutally honest. Okay, why am I doing this really? Why am I not doing this really? And now we want to leave you with some encouragement. And I think nothing encourages more than the Word of God. And so if you don't mind reading an encouraging verse in Romans chapter 8.
Romans 8, 29 through 31.
That's the one.
Awesome. It says, "For those God foreknew, he also predestined to be conformed to the image of his Son, that he might be the firstborn among many brothers and sisters. And those he predestined, he also called. Those he called, he also justified. And those he justified, he also glorified. What then shall we say in response to these things? If God is for us, then who can be against us?"
And I mean, there's so many great aspects of these verses, but one of the things, at least when it comes to the context that we're communicating in, self-leadership is not a one-man show. We've got a God, we've got a perfect Heavenly Father who actually wants to walk with us through the journey of self-leadership.
Yeah.
And it's not a, you need to try harder, hey, you need to stop that. It's a, hey, follow me, and let's do this together. So with that in mind, don't forget that life is so much better with that perfect Heavenly Father, with community, and a life filled with purpose.